The fitness industry has veered off course with photoshopping, with drugs and synthetic enhancements. We're kind of deceiving the public. The fitness industry just needs to cut ties altogether with pro bodybuilding, or at least organizations like the IFBB, because it's contaminating and bringing down the fitness industry. There's nothing healthy or fit about it. And all I see are fake tans, fake boob jobs, guys on steroids, narcissistic, vain people.
Most relationships out there are very codependent. As long as you don't keep your relationship with yourself healthy, you're going to be in a codependent relationship.
Today, fitness pro Max Wettstein is back on the show, and he blows the lid off the fitness industry. He says hypocrisy is rampant, it's skewed and perverted, a narcissistic, synthetic, vanity-based mockery of truth, health, and fitness, mostly contaminated by IFBB pro bodybuilding. And later in the show, Gale, author of Confessions of a Recovering Drama Queen, tells how she went from doormat to man magnet. But up first, Max Wettstein. Great to have you back again today, Max.
To be back. I can't believe those are my words. They sound so harsh.
I'm going to read that back one more time. That is almost verbatim from something you sent me on Facebook. You say, rampant hypocrisy, skewed and perverted, narcissistic, synthetic, vanity-based mockery of true health and fitness, mostly contaminated by IFBB, pro bodybuilding, and I also said something like taboo, semi-taboo, softcore porn. So yes, that's very strong. What's going on, Max?
Yeah, that's a big statement. I do back up that statement. I want to say, first off, I know I risk being blacklisted by the industry and never working in this town again, but I just had to get it off my conscience. And I just mean the fitness industry, and I include myself in it, I hold myself accountable, has veered off course. Is it really fit? Is it really healthy? Not so much anymore, and you know, with photoshopping, with drugs and synthetic enhancements and all this stuff, we're kind of deceiving the public through our media. Supplement companies are kind of deceiving the public with the ads they run when they sponsor pro bodybuilders or allow pro bodybuilders to endorse their supplements. It kind of implies that, you know, I look this way using whey protein and creatine, when really there's a lot more going on behind the scenes.
Possibly steroids.
yeah, and I'm not just pointing fingers at any one, you know, I'm not just pointing fingers at the models, but also, you know, the magazine publishers, the supplement companies, the as seen on TV infomercial market. Everyone's got to take responsibility and step up their accountability and do a better job.
You have a little something for everybody.
Yeah, myself included.
And well, and on that note, I just want to show we've got you here on the cover of Men's Health, Big Body of Express Exercises. I used to see this at Borders, as I said, when there was a Borders at least. Now, this is a natural photo? This is actually you.
Yeah,
are you photoshopped in this?
These covers are out right now, and yeah, I was kind of promoting myself a little bit, but really I'm showing those these covers because I can feel good about those photos. Yeah, they've probably been color corrected or touched up on Photoshop or something like that. I don't really know what goes on behind the scenes in post-production, but I can just feel good about them. I look at those photos and I say, that is me, that's what I look like, and I can stand behind them. And a lot of times the fitness models are victims. You know, the photographers take it upon themselves to Photoshop us. If they don't, sometimes the magazine art directors or editors are doing a lot of Photoshopping, and we don't even know till we see it. So in many ways, the fitness models that I'm pointing the finger at, we're victims.
Well, and I've often said when I look at the Photoshopping that's done too, I honestly think that people looked better the way they were. When I see some of the Photoshopping, it's so extreme that the skin tone looks plastic or fake. To me, it doesn't look human. The story I've told before is I was in a office of host of a national news magazine show who got publicity photos back from the network, and he was looking at them, and there were the raw photos and then the touched up photos. And to give him credit, he actually preferred the ones that were, you know, the unretouched photos. But when I looked at the ones that were photoshopped, and again, he wasn't in the fitness industry, it was you know, TV or hosting, but it's the same kind of thing. But the skin, it just didn't look human. And then when I've seen that, anyway, yeah, just various examples. I don't understand the need to do that extreme photoshopping.
You know, photoshopping is a great tool. I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but somewhere there's a line that gets crossed. You should be able to look at the finished photo on the magazine cover and say, yeah, that's Max Wettstein, that's what he looks like. And a person who's really good at their job and really good with Photoshop goes in and color corrects and does little touch-ups so that the person still looks like themselves, doesn't have like a synthetic robot-looking set of 10-pack abs, or all of a sudden a square jaw that he never had before. So there is a line, and guys, magazines and publications like Men's Health or everything they make, they get it right. Magazines like Outside Magazine that run real athletes on their cover, pretty much untouched, they get it right. But some of these fitness magazines, and I'm not necessarily going to name any names right now, are just over the top.
You can if you want.
It's complete deception, and it's absurdity and ridiculous and hypocrisy. And then with the women, because I'm a man, I'm not going to get into issues on breast augmentation and all that stuff too much because it's not really my place. But some of that's over the top. I feel bad for these women fitness models, because to get on a cover or win at a stage contest, they pretty much have to get a boob job or a breast augmentation. It's kind of sad, and is it really their fault? Yes, it's a personal choice, but somewhere along the line, the line's been crossed and things have veered off course, and it's just getting skewed. And I want to at least shed light on it and bring awareness, kind of like Christian Bobing did.
IFBB. Along that note, what's your problem with the IFBB?
The IFBB,
the International Federation of Bodybuilding.
Yeah, that to me, this is kind of an ironic situation, because bodybuilding is what gave birth to fitness modeling. Bodybuilding came first. Fitness models wouldn't be here without bodybuilding. And natural bodybuilding, I love it. I really appreciate body sculpting. But pro bodybuilding, and I will go on record saying the International Federation of Bodybuilding, the IFBB, there's nothing remotely healthy or fit about any of those guys. You look at any of the top 10 guys in the Olympia that stepped on stage, they are all suffering from body dysmorphia disorder, basically.
What is that? That was in your email.
They're so obsessed with the way they look that they literally want to look like freaks. They say that. They want to just be ginormous. A person that looks like that, first of all, does look like a freak. They're definitely not an athlete. Their cardio is probably suffering. They're definitely overweight for their height, even though that weight may be lean muscle mass. And most of them are running a drug tab that is upwards of $20 to $30, if not $50,000. How do I know this? Because I've talked to them. I've been in this industry for 10 years or more, and I've talked to them. And some of these guys got themselves weaved in here, and now that's the only way they can make a living. So,
as Christian talked about with.
And so my whole point, just to bring full circle with this, is even though fitness modeling came from bodybuilding, fitness modeling, or the fitness industry just needs to cut ties altogether with pro bodybuilding, or at least organizations like the IFBB, because it's contaminating and bringing down the fitness industry. There's nothing healthy or fit about it. I mean, maybe somebody mentioned, like, just real simply, he said, change it to the physique industry and then it all works. Well, maybe that's true, but for now it's the fitness industry. And every time I go to an expo or something, they have all these booths with these pro bodybuilders endorsing these supplements, and I walk around and all I see are fake tans, fake boob jobs, guys on steroids, narcissistic, vain people. And yeah, there's a few of us healthy guys still walking around, but it makes me want to just turn the other way in disgust. Now, I've made a lot of these mistakes myself, but I've kind of been evolving onto a more of a holistic health path where I want to be an athlete.
And which mistakes? With the vanity of narcissism, or?
Yeah, I've definitely had my share of vanity-based photos and been so narcissistic I'm worried about how I look. Again, I hate to ever call myself a victim, but when that's what the photographer or the magazine editor is telling you to do, or telling you how to look, then it takes a while to find your own course and come out with your own brand and say no. You know, and it's come to the point where I have been on set and I flat out refuse to shave myself completely bare, or I'm getting yelled at by the photographer for being sunburned or not getting a full spray on tan and the undersides of my arms are white. And so I've earned that right, and now I'm leveraging my place in the fitness industry with all my covers to be able to say no sometimes. But for these guys starting out, you know, what can they do? If they say no, they're never going to work in this town again and not going to book any gigs.
I'm sorry, we have to take a break, but
yeah.
we'll be right back. And we are back with Max Wettstein today, blowing the lid off the fitness industry.
Right.
I love it. You were on a roll there. I hated to interrupt.
Yeah.
But when you mentioned those tans, by the way, just some friends of mine have had a discussion about what is it with like those brown tans or whatever, that shoe polish. To me, it looks so unnatural.
You know, I love a healthy tan. I still go out and get natural sunlight. I believe in natural sunlight. I think what it comes down to get to the point is when you're on stage, there's those very bright lights that just supposedly blow out your physique with highlights. And so that was the original reason why the white boys had to start putting on the fake tanner. I think back in the day they laid out and they realized they're getting sun damage. But yeah, it's just, you're right, it's just over the top sometimes, these tans, and they start dripping off and they look more orange and it just looks so fake. And then of course that has spread into the fitness industry, and so now fitness models are expected to look like that. And if not, you get a tan photoshopped on you, which has happened to me several times. So again, a tan, good, and if you don't want to get too much natural sun, that's great, but somewhere along the line there's a line that keeps getting crossed to where it just gets perverted, as I said, or just ridiculous.
Well, and so what is the point of bodybuilding then, if it's just to take as many steroids, or to get as big as possible no matter what?
I like to caveat that with pro bodybuilding, because there's lots of great, natural, fantastic bodybuilders out there that are doing a great job.
But are there? At least
not
in the eye of the BB, though.
To step on stage at like the Olympia, you're doing drugs. And I'll say that to anyone. You're doing drugs, you're doing quite a few drugs. A lot of times you're getting doctor prescribed. I don't know how black market they are, but yeah, that's to me, like you said, at that point, what is the point?
And that's one thing that, for instance, when Christian Boving brought up this subject, later, people in the comments on YouTube and various places raised the issue of a few things. One, when you say legal or not legal, and in other words, he said whether or not you can get it in Europe. But anyway, regardless, most people admit you can get it with a doctor's prescription. Yeah. But we know that that's kind of shady too, because a lot of it's a judgment call. When we've done shows on anti-aging, for instance, I think someone will say, like, if I don't know if it's a low energy, but if you think your testosterone level's low or what, I don't know. I think you can find somebody to give it to you, as in with many drugs and things in life. If you want it, you can find somebody who will give it to you.
That's doctor-prescribed testosterone therapy for aging men. It's also called, I think, andropause. It even has a medical term now. It can be clinically diagnosed. I totally believe in that as a guy who's aging myself. That's just a nice skin cream.
One doctor though told me but some of it they give to guys who are 21.
Yeah, that part's probably bogus. Some guys have hypogonadism or something. Literally, they just are congenitally, they don't produce enough testosterone. So yeah, there's always a case-by-case basis, but there's always got to be a fitness model or bodybuilder that overdoes it to the point. And I want to just give a shout out to Christian Boving, because when he came forward and said, and I think it was specifically about, he lost a sponsorship with Hydroxycut, maybe, I don't know if I'm getting it right. When he came forward and said, I didn't just use these supplements to look this way, I also do steroids, don't quote me on exactly what was said. I said, you know what, I really appreciate his candor and his forthcoming, because a lot of guys criticize him and like, well, he's telling the truth. So many other guys are saying, no, this supplement made me look this way, when really they are doing steroids.
So what is the answer? I know you were concerned about having a positive message today, despite raising the issues. So what is the solution? And I mean, you really go across the board with the competitors, or the athletes themselves, to the publishers, to the supplement companies, to the magazine. I mean, the photographers. What is the solution to this?
I think the solution is, you take a look back at our roots. Guys like Clark Bartram, that first coined the phrase fitness model, or went on record with it. He did it right, and he still does it right. There's a certain line you just don't cross, and you always want to just set a proper example, a proper healthy example. It's personal accountability, and it's not just it's all of us. It's pandemic throughout the industry. It's the talent, the models, the magazine publishers need to limit the photoshopping and pick better candidates for their cover shots. It's the supplement companies. They need to stop sponsoring pro bodybuilders with freakish physiques that are really on anabolic steroids. It's the as seen on TV infomercial exercise product that's getting fitness models to endorse these silly gimmicky products and saying that, yeah, this is how I got my physique. It's across the board. We all need to step it up and just do a better job. So we're failing America, and we're really not being fit or healthy.
Well, and I liked the comment that you said, that you said it's failing the American public or deceiving the American public about what is really healthy.
Yeah, it's very misleading. Young men are are trying to look like these guys and build their bodies up and starting to suffer from body dysmorphia disorder, or just wanting to get big. And getting big has nothing to do with being healthy. And I don't want to just keep going back to bodybuilding, but that's the third part of my solution. The fitness industry needs to drop pro bodybuilding.
Ideal body type, and what do you think it is? Or like a form, like, you know, you go in the museums, you see those Greek statues and stuff. I mean, at what point, you know, I don't want to say if it's a scientific or aesthetic or personal, you know, whatever. But what do you think? What should people be striving for?
I think what we need to look to is real life successful athletes, people we can believe in.
Although the stories are coming out about so many of them who are not quite all natural.
So there are some other athletes out there in other industries that are cheating. But seriously, there's lots of role models out there. And when it comes to being healthy, it really doesn't have anything to do with how you look per se. Every study I ever read was you can be moderately overweight, but as long as you live an active lifestyle and aren't sedentary, you can still be healthy. I mean, of course, we want to look on a magazine and see a physique that just, you know, really stands out. But I think we just need to look to real life athletes that are doing it right and we know are healthy and see what do they look like. And you know, we all have this genetic structure that we're given at birth. So I don't know. There really isn't one ideal physique, to be honest.
Well, thank you very much, Max. Just telling it how it is. I love it.
I don't know. I don't want to turn my back on my industry or throw anybody under the bus, but I just wanted to bring light and shed awareness, and I think we can all do better, including myself.
We'll be right back. And we are back. Joining me now is Lauren Gale. She's author of Confessions of a Recovering Drama Queen, one woman's true story of self-discovery and finding love while surviving the LA dating scene. Great to meet you, Lauren.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
So you went from doormat to man magnet.
I did. I sure did. I was kind of tired of playing the doormat for a very long time. I think we as women are almost conditioned to be a doormat and take care of everyone else. And then if we get to ourselves, then great, and usually we don't. So I got tired of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
So you had some interesting experiences on the dating scene.
I sure did. I sure did. And for change, I actually shared it with everyone else. So what was very sad for me was entertaining for the rest of the world. So it worked out.
You want to give us some examples of how because it started with a breakup.
It did. It started with a breakup. Actually, what happened and what propelled me to write the book, I was always dating the bad guys. I was going for the bad guys, for the challenge, for the fixer-uppers, and I'm like, okay, I can't do the same thing, so I'm going to go for something different. So I talked myself into McShorty.
McShorty.
I usually don't date short guys, but I was like, okay, he had everything.
There were various mix in the book, I noticed.
Yes,
yes.
McShorty, McFull of Bull, McStripper, and so
McStripper.
forth. Yes, I was married to a McStripper, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but so back to McShorty.
Yes, so McShorty, I talked myself into McShorty, had everything on paper that I was looking for. The stable job, he didn't want to become an actor or a writer, you know, in LA.
Is that a big no-no?
That's a commodity. He seemed like a nice guy, a great guy. And then I worked really hard to get myself into that. And then he broke up with me. Out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, I went for the bad guys. Didn't work.
Now, along that note, though, you say in the book, you ask, you say, do men love bitches?
Yes.
But then you say you were looking for the bad guys. So do women? You know, you always hear that the women like the bad boys. So
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, what happens when you can't have something? You wanted more. So they have that challenge. We all want that challenge. We all want something that's not that easy. If it's too easy,
it does become a challenge then, doesn't it? You kind of get what you
ask for. Absolutely. But you know, it keeps it interesting. It keeps it dramatic. It's like watching a soap opera.
People like the drama. See, I don't like drama, but a lot of people like the drama.
People say they don't, but really they do. Because if you
I really don't. But anyway,
he does.
But I think she's right, though. A lot of people do, though.
Well, people are attracted to the drama because what makes life interesting. And it keeps you going. And when things are too calm and too pleasant, you're like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? Also, we are conditioned to what we have encountered in our childhood. So if you encountered a very tumultuous relationship, all you say to yourself is, this is not what I want, but guess what? You're going to find yourself over and over again with what you're familiar and what you're comfortable with.
So, no offense, this is getting kind of personal, but did you have a very tumultuous childhood or a lot of drama in the...
I had an absolutely tumultuous childhood, a very messed up relationship with my father, and that's what I kept finding over and over and over again until I had to shift the relationship really with myself.
Well, you know, as I said once to an actress based on a movie she did, the movie implied that all women are looking for daddy. So is that true? They're looking for the bad boy, but they're also looking for daddy?
And I think it's the same thing for men. They're all looking for mommy. We all want to find what we couldn't find in our childhood. So if our daddy didn't love us like we needed him to love us, we're going to find that bad guy that just like daddy, but we're going to expect them to love us that way, which they're not capable of it. Let's face it. You know, our dad wasn't capable of it, and so is the guy that we're choosing. So it's almost like a self-fulfilled prophecy. We're going for the bad guys because they're bad, but we're expecting them to give us the love that we didn't get in our childhood.
But eventually you got the idea that it doesn't really, that may be the theory, but it doesn't really work that way, or it gets old, or what? You wanted something different.
I wanted something healthy. I wanted to be loved in the healthy kind of way. And what I realized throughout writing this book and throughout dating, it's not on the outside. It's about self-acceptance first and empowering yourself. It's not all about a relationship. So even if you are in a relationship, it's very important to keep the relationship with yourself real and not lose yourself into the other person. It is so easy for women especially to lose themselves into that.
Yeah, because as you said at the beginning, I think about when maybe if people are, I forget how exactly you phrased it, but if you said like if women are trying to help or... But I think you can almost become resentful too, is the problem, is that maybe they go out of the way or to be a certain way or do something, but then that's...
You resent it, and then it's poison, and then the relationship's not going to work. It's a give and take. And most importantly, you have to give to yourself. You have to find a life before you find a relationship. You have to find things that work for you. You have to find hobbies. You have to find your own happiness. Because the thing is, if you're not happy, you're not going to be happy in a relationship either.
Oh, yeah.
It's about you. You're going to be happy the first 3 months, which is, you know, the honeymoon stage, and then you're going to be back to being yourself.
Well, and that's why I always think, you know, when you hear about people like who, okay, fine, maybe they're honeymoon or when they first met or whatever, but people who want to like lock themselves off from the world and spend it, like somebody told me once, well, actually on the show, but like they spent like 24/7 together for the first week or two, and I thought, I mean, how long can that go? You know, where you're locked off from the world, and you have to have, like you said, hobbies and outside interests.
You're going to want to kill each other.
Yeah,
and that's completely natural. If
that's human nature.
If you don't, you need therapy. I mean, seriously, I can be around myself for 24/7.
That's almost codependent, don't you think?
That
I mean,
is
that's
very
not
much.
even really romantic. It's
but
just
most relationships out there are very codependent. As long as you don't keep your relationship with yourself healthy, you're going to be in a codependent relationship. When you're counting too much and giving your power away into another person or into a relationship, it's not going to be a healthy relationship.
So how did you, you know, get that power back within yourself, or decide to, you know, find it, whatever in yourself, you know, that lets you look somewhere else to find someone too?
I shifted the focus. I shifted the focus from the men and from their relationship to me. What can I do to make me happy? Also, I shifted the focus as far as dating. It wasn't anymore about, oh my God, are you my husband or not? It's about going out there, having fun, and meeting people.
So I guess another point, as they often say, is that women do go into dating maybe with a very different point of view than a lot of guys do, because you are looking for the husband, whereas with the guys, that's not always the case. In fact, they may be running the other direction.
Absolutely. And you start, I mean, a lot of times in the book, I start fantasizing about our grandchildren and naming them before I even went on a first date. And that's something that women do. And
getting married at a certain by a certain time or something.
Right, they start thinking about the guy as a potential partner before they even know if the guy's right for them. And they're so caught into convincing someone that they are the right person for them before they even realize if they want them or not.
I'm so sorry we're out of time, but thank you very much,
Thank you so much, Greg.
Gale, Confessions of a Drama Queen.
Recovering
drama queen. That's right.
Big
I was teasing you beforehand. She's recovered.
Recovering. In recovery.
Recovering. recovery. Okay,
Yes.
well, when you get recovered, we'll do a part 2.
Sounds good.
I'd also like to thank Max Wettstein for blowing the lid off the industry. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.